Hey, what's up guys? I'm Justin with CBI and Prinsu. Today we're going to show you how to install our Prinsu roof rack on a Lexus GX460. You can see here the rack is installed. It hugs the vehicle just super well. It's very low profile, very lightweight. This is all aluminum construction. Here we have our standard wind deflector. You do have the option to run a light bar cutout in this one. It's a 40-inch that'll fit on this particular roof rack. This one is also a non-drill, so it's completely bolt-on. It's going to bolt in the exact same place that your factory roof rack did, so that's awesome. Installation is really simple. This one could take you about 4 hours. It's best to have 2 people just putting the rack on and off the vehicle, but it is possible to do it with 1 person. So great looking roof rack. We sell tons of accessories for these. You can get handles, bottle openers, awning mounts, load panels to bridge in between these crossbars. I mean, really sky's the limit on accessories and mounting. Just really versatile rack, but stay tuned and we'll show you how to get this thing installed. Alright, so step 1 is we're going to get everything unpacked out of the box, kind of lay it all out how it's going to install, and we'll just kind of run through explaining everything that you should have. Obviously check for any damage in shipping, make sure everything arrived as you order it. So starting up front, working back to me, we have our noise reducing trim, we have our wind deflector, our silver crossbar that's going to attach to the wind deflector, all of our crossbars, and 2 side rails. Getting back here, we have our hardware bags. In this one, we have our Loctite that we're gonna use, our spacers. We have some D-rings for tying down onto your rack. These longer black bolts, they're a Torx head, it's a T30. They're gonna be used to install the crossbars to the side rails. And we have this last bag of hardware. This is gonna be for the wind deflector. These are some T-nuts, washers, shorter black Phillips head bolts that will install the wind deflector to the silver crossbar. So now that we got everything unpacked, we're gonna start prepping our hardware. We're gonna get washers and Loctite applied to our bolts. Once we get that, we'll start installing our side rails. All right, so our next step is we're gonna start assembling the crossbars to the side rails. We're gonna take our longer black bolts, the T30, we're gonna use that to install these. I have an impact here, but it's turned down to its lowest setting, so you definitely wanna be careful not to strip out any of the bolts. You start everything by hand before you tighten it down. If you have any doubt, use hand tools, that's always a safe bet. So we're gonna install these with our extrusions facing upward, and we don't want to install a crossbar over a mounting foot right now. So we want full access to the mounting foot once it gets on the vehicle. So we'll go ahead and get a few of these installed, and it just makes it easier to install on the vehicle. You can install, if you're working by yourself, you can install a side rail and then, you know, each crossbar one at a time and then the other side rail, but it's easy for us since we have help, do the whole thing on the ground and then take it to the vehicle. All right, so our next step is we're gonna remove the factory rails from the vehicle now. This is gonna be done by removing these covers in 3 locations. If you just take a screwdriver here, you can see that it's cut out specifically for that. So you can pop those covers off. That'll expose 2 bolts underneath each location. Use a 12mm socket to remove those. And again, the process is the same on both sides. So we'll do the driver's side, jump over and do it on the passenger. All right, so our next step is we're gonna get our spacers siliconed into place. So these are all the same size, so it doesn't matter the orientation, so just get two per section here. So we're gonna take black RTV silicone, we're gonna fill up the inside of that hole around it, and we're gonna smash this spacer down on it. So this stuff, this is a really great way to seal your roof. We've never had an issue if you use this properly. It expands and contracts with hot and cold, so you don't get any cracking or anything that you would get with like a gasket or O-ring or something like this. So this is a great method. Definitely use a good amount of it, because that is gonna be the primary source of sealing on your roof. So we'll go ahead and get these in place. All right, so now that you got your roof rack up here and kind of sitting in place, we're gonna reuse our factory hardware, get everything hand tight, and then we'll check our alignment, and then we'll come back and tighten everything down. Okay, so we got everything tightened down. I went ahead and installed the remaining crossbars. Now we're gonna prep the wind deflector for installation and get it installed. Okay, so we're gonna take our hardware here intended for the wind deflector. We're gonna do the same thing with the bolts. We're gonna get a washer on them, get some Loctite on there, and then we're gonna slide in our T-nuts. Just make sure when you slide these in with the threaded part that's kind of sticking up, facing down. That's how those are gonna go. So we'll get everything prepped and show you a tight shot of how this goes. All right guys, that sums up our install video on the Lexus GX460 Prinsu roof rack. We're ready to load this thing down and get out there and do some adventures. Make sure that you like and subscribe to see more videos like this.